Welcome back, my VIP friends. You know what? It tells me so much about somebody when they're VIP versus not VIP. It really does. Like you're the people who don't like standing in lines. You're the people who think of yourselves as worthy of something better. Um, it's just that's the way I am. It's like I I haven't gone to the Olympics yet. Most of the time because I haven't had time. Um, but mostly because I just don't do lines. I mean, if I'm going someplace, it's got to be VIP. If I'm going to a club, it has to be a VIP. If I'm going to go to a concert, it has to be VIP. If I'm going to a UFC fight, it has to be VIP. Call me bougie if you want, but you know what I mean? I'm just not gonna do it. I'm I have a thing called line theory, and the line theory says this: my happiness is in direct proportion to the percentage of people that are behind me in a line. So if like I'm 12 people back in the line and there's nobody behind me, I'm unhappy. If I'm 12 people back and there's 500 people behind me, I'm super happy. Mm-hmm. So, same 12 people, but it's just the way I'm wired. So anyway, I just want to congratulate you for being in here. And today it's just going to be me. I just want to get help you get some clarity. Tomorrow I'm going to bring in some special guests. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be bringing in some special guests, some of the best sellers in the world, as to sharing their insights. So today I want to answer your questions. I'm going to answer that via the chat and also via the Q&A. There's a Q&A button at the bottom that you can click on. Is there a Q&A button? There's no Q&A button. So we're going to have to do it via chat. So put your questions in the chat and I will answer as many of them as I can. To just here's my hope for you, to give you as much clarity as I can possibly give you. Let me tell you why we're talking about now sight as much as we are, and that might be annoying to you, but I truly believe that those that use it have a distinct advantage over those who don't, and I also believe that you have to get in front of AI. You can't be behind it. You can't just say, I'm not a techie person. You're just such a huge disadvantage. And the only way to get good at it is to interact with it and to start figuring things out. It's how you figured out social media in the first place. It's how you figured out network marketing in the first place. You just have to get in there and goof around with it. So I just strongly encourage you to get in there and goof around with it and try to create as much of a no-brainer offer as possible. You're going to get a ticket to GoPro just for giving it a try for 90 days. And if it's not this, then what? I mean, this is specific to network marketing. So I encourage you to do that. I also want to encourage all of you, you're all eligible for a one-on-one consultation. How many of you struggle with your mindset? Put a one in the chat if you struggle with your mindset, if you find yourself getting stuck from time to time.
No.
Well, these GoPro coaches are trained to help you get out of your head and into action. Help you figure out why you're not doing the things that you know you should be doing. So you can schedule a one-on-one consultation with a GoPro coach if you go to mygoprocoach.com or call 1-800-405-3216 or scan the QR code. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation. I cannot suggest highly enough how valuable it's going to be for you. Take 30 minutes, sit down with a coach, and find out. Have them help you figure out why you're not moving forward faster. They're professionals at it. So that's included inside of this VIP conversation. So I'm going to start with Sandra Henkel. She wrote right before we started here, should I write a person again who doesn't respond at all? My initial response to that is, you should have so many conversations going on that you don't even really have time to get to the people who are not responding. Does it make sense at all? Have so much activity going on that you just don't have time to get to the people that are not getting back to you. And Candace said, try a voice note or a phone call. Goals 100 conversations. Scroll a bit. Harry said, if you have a phone number, I would try calling. And Sandra said, most of them I don't really have personal contact. We just had a photo shooting, so it feels totally weird calling them. Well, again, you got to acknowledge the elephant in the room. And just say, look, I know we don't have a lot of personal contact. We just had a photo shooting. I don't know what that means. But I had your contact information and I thought about you. So I thought I'd call and say hi. And give it a second. If you don't have a real personal contact with them and you're just reaching out of the blue, how weird is that? It's pretty weird. If somebody I've never had a real conversation with sends me a message, I am immediately skeptical. But if somebody says, hey, I saw your social profile and I saw this happened and that happened and I wanted to congratulate you and I saw that we have some mutual friends, I'll at least give that a thumbs up. I'll give that a heart. I'll give that something. Hey, thanks for the compliment. And now we've started, right? So you got to make it appropriate. If it's distant, admit that it's distant. Hey, we haven't talked to each other since school. How are things going? And let me give you another pro tip. If you have an agenda, try not to talk about the agenda in your message. So I have some very powerful friends that I'm working on building a relationship with because I like them. I think they're cool, they're interesting, they're not the fact that they're celebrities, but the fact that they are badasses. They're just cool. And we have contact. We've talked. You know, we have something of a relationship. If I send them something about business, I usually get crickets. But if I send something funny, or if I send something that we have in common, or compliment them in some way that isn't gushing or gross. You're like, I have a friend who's an investor in F45, I think it's called, the workout. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I think it's called F45. But anyway, my message is not, hey, can we do business somehow with F45? My message is, I just want you to know how impressed I am of how you navigated your involvement with F45 to an investment, to an initial public offering. I just think it was genius. Have a great day. Now I'm going to get a response. Do you see the difference? Let me know with your heads. A few of you, let me know. Don't give me RBF faces. I can see you. You understand I can see you, right? Do you feel the difference in that? So think about how is a creative way for you to just get the conversation started? Hey, I know it was distant, but I always liked you when we were connected. What's new in your life? You know, what's bringing you joy? How's your family? Something. Okay, so let's scroll down and let's go to some more questions. Hold on. Don't want to do lines first class all the way. I agree. Stay away from negative, rude, mean people, environment, and situations. Always stay away from them. Let me tell you something, Dr. Jennifer, about mean, rude, negative environments and situations. What is a mean person? What has caused them to be mean? Think about that. Think about the answer to that question. They've either been treated mean themselves or they've had their hearts broken. Would you agree? That's what causes people to be mean, their environment. Something's happened to them. They've lost trust. And instead of letting somebody be mean to them, they're just going to be mean first. So I don't mind mean people. I actually enjoy the challenge of saying, tell me what happened that caused you to react to the world the way that you do. Because I'm super curious. Because I know this can't be your soul. This can't be what you're really all about. Did somebody let you down? Was somebody mean to you? Did it happen in your upbringing? Whatever. If the relationship is to that point, if the conversation is at that point, I love digging into that. Find somebody who's negative and cynical. I'll find you somebody that's had their heart broken. So I don't mind that. I wouldn't avoid those. I would view those as a challenge. They're an advanced skill. I wouldn't, right now I want you to focus on easy. Those are not the people to talk to the next 72 hours. Let's not focus there, the next 72 hours. But the next 72 days, let's pick a few. And see if we can get past all of their hard nastiness and find out what really makes them tick. Just for the project of it. Even if they never ever turn into a customer or a distributor. Okay? Emma asks, where do I stand on LinkedIn as a platform? I'm agnostic to platforms. Whatever platform works for you to build, create conversations, I'm good. So I would say practice with all of them. Find the ones that you like, master those, and then go beyond. Master those, go beyond. You don't need to be a master of all of them in order to be able to have all the conversations you have time to be able to answer. I like to approach cold market instead. What would your strategy be? Vanessa says. And the reason, Vanessa, you like to approach cold market is because you didn't like how you were treated by your warm market. Right? So you'd rather have people who don't know anything about you. So that's why you'd rather do that. I'm uncomfortable with cold market. See, but first thing I would tell you is if you scorched your warm market and your hot market, go on an apology tour first. Go apologize to all of those people about making them uncomfortable and see if you can rebuild using the scripts that I used in the last session. Okay? That's the first thing I would ask you to do. Just for the sake of the quality of your relationships. It's just going to be better. Okay? Second, if you're gonna go cold, you need to find people that you have some sort of connection with. I mean, if you're just gonna like be messaging people randomly, man, you're gonna have to go through a lot of numbers. You're gonna have to go through so many numbers in order to be able to get to your goals. And it's gonna be you have to have such a thick skin. It's like, let's say you have weight loss products and you're like, would you like to lose weight? Would you like to lose weight? Would you like to lose weight? And all you're doing is sending that text message over and over and over to every single cold market person you can find. Yeah, I know. You guys understand, right? There's a camera here and there's a screen here, so I can see your faces here and there's a camera there. So I'm not always going to be looking at the camera. Most of the times I'm going to be looking at you. And my producers always say, look at the freaking camera. I understand. But here's what I would tell you. And he's doing his job. But here's what I would tell you. With cold market, it's tough. And it's a longer tail. So if you're going to do cold market, here would be my approach. Make a list of your passions. Make a list of your passions. What are you passionate about? Join as many groups as you can that are related to those passions. As many online groups as you can that are related to those passions. Make friends with, compliment, comment, whatever, friend up at least 2 people a day that have the same passions you have. And then turn those cold contacts into at least warm contacts. And once they're warm, and once you've been in conversation for a while, there'll be an opportunity for you to pivot the conversation into product or business. That's what I would do. I would do a combination of online and in person. If somebody is selling me something at a store, I'm going to get their contact information. If somebody is serving me at a restaurant, I would get their contact information. If somebody is checking me into a hotel, I would get their contact information. Right? So be good at getting people's contact information and just friending them up. What I'll typically do is I'll just open up Instagram and I will open up the search bar and I'll say, enter in your Insta handle. And I would just friend them up. Then I'd send them, hey, this is Erik Worre. We met at such and such. Nice to meet you. Now they're in my orbit. Okay? So think about how many people you can meet, how you can get their contact information, how they can be start of a conversation. When you're out in retail situations or you're out in the world, if you're traveling, if you are checking into a hotel, if you are buying something, if you are being served at a restaurant, one of my favorite questions is, you're really good at this. Is this all you're ever planning on doing, is just doing this, or have you ever thought about doing more? You're selling cars, and you're good at selling cars. Is this it? You're just going to sell cars for the next 40 years? Have you ever thought of doing more? Because in my opinion, I think you're worth more than you're getting paid. Now it's not the time to talk about it, but at some point, I think I could help you. Now, if you were selling cars and somebody said that to you, would that be interesting? Yes or no? Seeing one person nod. The rest are just looking. 2 people nodding. Okay. I think it would be interesting, right? Be interesting to me. Be a nice compliment. It'd be nice to hear that somebody feels like I'm being underpaid. And it would make me think, is this it? Or am I just paying the bills right now? How many people that are serving in restaurants, that are good at serving, plan on serving in restaurants for the rest of their lives? How many people who have a struggling small business plan on being in that struggling small business for the rest of their lives? How many people working for a corporation plan on working for that corporation for the rest of their lives? Very, very few. So get their contact information, start a conversation, and go from there. So you can start with cold, you can transition it to warm, build the conversation, go from there. Got it? Then it goes back into the normal. That's what I would do with cold. What has been your best strategies to not only sign up distributors but keep them in the fire? Keep people close to you, close to the business. I'm guessing is what Ethan's asking. My best advice for that, and we're going to focus on customers right now. How do you sign up a customer and keep them a customer? Let's just focus on that. Okay. If I sign up a customer, it's very important that you onboard a customer. And to onboard a customer is to make sure that they start using the product that they bought. The way that the company suggests that you use the products. And so I would help them get started using the products properly. I would challenge them to use the products for a certain amount of time and to compare how they feel or how they look or some benefit of before and after, right? And then I would remind them of what the before and after was. And at the same time, I would educate them as to why they're so smart using these products when other people aren't. I would educate them over the process. Just by doing those 4 things, you should double the average life of your typical customer. If they're normally 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then they'll be maybe up to a year that they'll be a customer on average, just from those 4 things. So that's what I would do for customers. Can you scroll down, please? How can we move prospects through the pipeline faster? Sandra, be patient. You've got to marry patience with urgency. Yes, I know you want to sign them all up. I know you want them to sign up right now. I know you want them to sign up yesterday. But some of them you haven't built enough of a relationship yet. You've got to build more of a relationship first. And then the trust will come. And then once the trust is there, then they'll be able to hear your story. Then they can try your product. They could watch the demo. You know what I mean? They can see how it would work. They could hear the testimonial. How do you move them through the pipeline faster? I mean, there are a few tricks. One of the tricks that I would use is I would go to some people today and say, my company has a 3-day challenge to get 10 customers. And it's $60, it's $80, it's $100. How much is it to be a customer, just a normal customer for you? Put it in the chat. I can't see the chat because it's all the way down. I know. We'll come back up to 1234. 1234 is when we stopped. So $300, $100, $150, $100, $185. It's it's in that range, right? $23, $117. My company has a challenge to see who can get 10 customers in the next 3 days. And I just thought I would take a swing and see if you might be one of them. Let's say you're in conversation already. Would you be one of them? That would be amazing if you'd be one of them for me. That will increase emergency, for sure. Some people will do that just for that, just because it matters for you. Will that matter for you? That my $79? Will that matter? Okay, fine. What am I buying? Oh, you're going to buy this thing. You know, it's, I'll tell you about it later. All right, fantastic. So I'll never forget, I was sitting, I worked with the Starkey Hearing Foundation, who helped people with hearing aids. And this was back when The Apprentice was a big deal with Donald Trump running the Apprentice. And this is not meant to be a political conversation, so just remember the time when everybody loved Donald Trump. Okay. And on that particular show was Marlee Matlin, who was a hearing challenged actress. And they were having a contest. And I remember walking into Bill Austin's office, the guy who ran this foundation. And he said, and at this time, I did not have a lot of money. Didn't have a lot of room on my credit cards. I didn't have a lot of money extra. You know, I was trying to help the foundation as best I could, but I wasn't rolling in money. He said, Eric, how much room do you have on your credit card? I said, not much. He said, oh, that's too bad. I said, why? He said, well, they're running a contest on the Celebrity Apprentice, and the different participants have painted 20 paintings, and whichever team sold the paintings for the most money won the challenge, and their charity would get $1 million, not $1 million, but their charity would be featured on The Apprentice. So Marlee Matlin, the Starkey Hearing Foundation. So I said, can I just sit and watch? And he said, sure. And I watched him get on the phone. And in less than 2 hours, he sold 20 ridiculous paintings from celebrities for $1 million cash. And he couldn't take a wire. He couldn't take a check. It all had to be on credit cards because he had 2 hours to do it because the contest was closing. So I watched him call he gets a hold of the owner of Best Buy in his car. Said, how much room do you have in your American Express card? He said, I don't know, 60,000 or something. He said, I need it. He said, what am I buying? He said, you're going to get a painting that you're not going to care about, but it's going to help the foundation, and I really appreciate it. He said, oh, okay. And he said, how much is your wife there? Yeah, she's in the car. How much does she have? Well, she's got the same 60,000. Well, I need her 60,000 too. Okay. He came to me. He said, listen, can you arrange $60,000? I said, I just don't think I can. He said, I have a Shelby Cobra that's one of two, signed by Carroll Shelby, a Mustang. That's worth $300,000. It's sitting in my garage. I'll give it to you for, if you can come up with 60 grand on a credit card in the next 2 hours, I'll give you that car. I couldn't do it. It killed me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out, how to do it. But here's the question, here's the answer. Don't say no for somebody else. Be willing to ask, hey, I have this promotion, I have this contest. I got 72 hours. This is your contest. You just made it up. You have to Wednesday night, midnight, to tell your whole world, I need 10 customers. Would you be one of them? That's how you can get some stuff done faster. You can get it done faster. For the rest of it, you have to just do so much volume that speed takes care of itself. Pour so much honey in the top of that funnel that it's pouring out regularly. You ever see those chocolate fountains that they do, these crazy chocolate fountains? You just got to keep pouring the chocolate in the fountain so it comes out the bottom and it's flowing smooth. That's how you get it to go faster. Have so many conversations that your prospects never dry up. Right. Now, how does AI know if you used AI? It learns. Keep going. When we ask for support, do we run through the options one by one or just pick one? I would run through all four, Daniel. I would say, Daniel, if you were my prospect, I would just say, look, I got this promotion. If I get 10 customers for my business in the next 72 hours, it's going to be a very good thing for me. And you don't have to do it, but if you did, it would mean the world to me. And there's 4 ways that you can support me. Number 1, you can be my customer one time. It's $87, and I'll make it easy on you. Right? And there's lots of ways to make it easy, right? You could send them a link. You could send them a shopping cart already filled out and done. All they have to do is click on it. You could have them Venmo you the money, and you make the order for them on their name. There's a million ways to make it easy, but it's important for you to make it easy. So would you be my customer one time? That would be awesome. You'd be one of my 10. That would just mean the world to me. 2, could I practice on you? It doesn't have to be now, but at some point, can I practice my little pitch on you? That would really help me a lot. I'd feel supported. I'd feel encouraged. Number 3, could you introduce me to somebody else that might be a good candidate for my product? And number 4, would you push me? And I need your push now more than I need it ever. I need 10 customers in 72 hours. Would you help me? Would you push me? Would you a couple times a day send me a text? How you doing? How you doing? What's your number at right now? Would you be my accountability partner? I would ask for all 4. Why not? It's not a heavy ask. They could say no to all 4. Even if they say, you know what, I don't have the money right now. Can't do it. Which isn't true, by the way, but you're not going to, argue with them. You could still ask if you could practice on them. You could still ask for introductions. And you can still ask that they support you. And if they say no to all of those things, that's okay. Not everybody's going to say yes to those things. That's okay. Some people have too much psychic damage and emotional trauma and all kinds of PTSD. That's fine. No problem. Don't cut them off and give them the cold shoulder if they're not willing to do those 4 things for you. Just say, hey, it's okay. It's okay, especially if you've been pushy with them before, if you've made them uncomfortable before. Just say, look, I understand. I got to pay a price by making you uncomfortable. And if this is the price I've got to pay, then I'm willing to pay it because your relationship is more important to me than doing business together. So I'd rather have our relationship than anything else. What can I do for you? Anything I can do for your business? Anything I can do for your family? Turn it around. Okay. Can you import all your contacts into NowSite? Yes, you can. They'll help you. What do you think of LinkedIn? I think it's fine. I've never really used it a lot, even though I have lots of contacts there. I've never really used it a lot. I use a lot of Instagram and a lot of Facebook. That's me, though. Other people use TikTok and different things and Snapchat or whatever. Use whatever you want. Speak more into attraction marketing. This is attraction marketing. When you post more on social, you will attract more, which will create more conversations. And it's just what you do with those conversations. See, you know what? A lot of people, they get hung up on attraction marketing. You know where they get hung up? They want people to ask them, can I be your customer? That's not how things work. You want people to just knock on your door and say, can I please be your customer? That's not how this works. Deborah says, my challenge, I'm permanently disabled. I'm recovering from shoulder surgery. I had shoulder surgery last year. It is not fun. How do I get past this disability mindset? I still worked while I had my shoulder surgery. Person who said they were nonverbal, you could still be face-to-face with somebody and type so you can look them in the eye while you're typing. And if you can't type, then have somebody type for you. There's always a solution. Stephen Hawking figured out a way to communicate to the world. You cannot tell me your disability is causing you not to build a business. Well, you can if you want. You can own that belief system if you want. It's just not real. It's not. If Stephen Hawking could communicate to the entire world, you can too. Okay? What would you recommend to increase following on TikTok? Frequency, quantity, 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 quantity. Find out what other people are doing and do that. But do more than you're currently doing. I don't have time for all that. Hey, you might not have time to build a business either. You got all kinds of time to go to a job. You got all kinds of time to do all kinds of other stuff. You just got to determine what's important to you and what's not. Okay? I have hundreds of business cards, Udo says, which are 10 years old and older. How would you reconnect with these people? Do you have scripts we could use we could use for inspiration? Well, first of all, almost all these numbers are not going to work anymore. You can try. But grab those hundreds of business cards and try and message them. Try and look them all up on social. Try and be their friend on social. And say, hey, I got your business card a long time ago. What are you up to now? Could you say that with all those people? We met at this certain place and you were doing this thing and you had this job. Are you still doing that same job? Or are you doing anything different? You can start a conversation. The phone numbers might not work, the emails might not work, but you can probably find them on social. If you can find them on social, friend them up. If you can friend them up, say, I can't believe we're reconnected because I just ran across your business card and I thought I'd look you up. Pretty common sense, straight up stuff. See what I mean? Is that hard or easy? It's not hard. The script is just be a human being. Forget you have a product. Forget you have a business. And just connect with a person on a human level. And wait for the pivot to happen. I'm going to talk about the pivot tomorrow and the next day. How you pivot these conversations into product or business conversations in a natural way that doesn't chase people away. So don't worry about that. Salim says, I don't sell a product. I offer, I'm guessing, a service. I'm a financial representative. Would this system work for you? Of course. Of course. You're going to have to focus more on demonstration. You're going to have to focus more on testimonials. You're going to have to focus more on sharing what the service can do for people, introducing people to the service, right? You're going to have to focus on that. The only thing you can't do in what I just described is have them be a one-time customer, because that might not be beneficial for your business if it's a service. If they're one time and then they quit, that might not be beneficial depending on how you're paid. But if it's a service-based business, lean heavy on testimonials, lean heavy on demonstration, lean heavy on what was it? Demo. What was the three things? Demo, sampling. If you can sample, show them how the service works. Let them try the service themselves. Let's say it's travel service. Let them try it on your account and see if they can get a better deal than they would have got. It's a pretty good way to get a customer, right? And then testimonials. Whether it's big ticket or service, it's kind of the same thing. I've not sold a thing yet in LRMLM. If I go to follow instructions today, which product do I choose from the range of products the company offers for my hot customer? What's the easiest? What's the easiest? What is the most popular? What gets the best results? What gets the fastest results? What is the most demonstratable? What is the most exciting? Go there. That's where I would go. Now site works in every language, so you don't need to worry about it. You know what's really cool too? I'll just tell you one thing about Now Site. They're rolling out this thing called Teams, where you can bring your organization into Now Site for free. They don't have to pay. You as the team member, the team owner, can run the team. This is an upgrade feature. You can run the team and you can add as many people as you want to the team. Now get this. If you want to communicate to everybody in your organization worldwide, you can send one communication and it'll translate it into anybody's language automatically. So if you've got an international organization, it'll automatically translate into their language when you send a global communication to your team. That is pretty freaking cool. Because my ability to communicate in all these languages is challenged. So I'm going to be building the biggest group inside of there possible, the biggest team inside of there possible, so I can communicate to the world in every language. I'm excited about that. Last month, because of different hours, I couldn't have the meetings online one-to-one. I sent an email, nobody answered back to my email, Eric. Well, you must not have sent that many, Livia. Most people don't open emails. They just don't. Most people, I mean, it's like percentage. Almost everybody opens the text. Almost everybody sees their DMs. Almost everybody sees a WhatsApp message. You got to focus where people are, their attention are. Focus there. If somebody didn't respond to your email, one of two things. Let's say that's all you had was email. That was the only thing available to you. What I'm going to suggest to you is you have to do a lot more in quantity if you want to be able to get results via email. Massive amounts of quantity. And then get off of email and onto voice-to-voice or face-to-face if you want to turn it into an actual result. You cannot just stay on email and get a result. Please click a button and be my customer. Good luck. That's not how it's going to work. Unless they're your best friend and you've done everything in the world for them and you say, I need you to be my best friend and click on this button and buy this product and we'll talk about it later. It's a pretty small group. Okay? I wanted more clarity regarding the Support Me script to get business partners for my product, which is a travel business. What clarity would you want? I need to know what more clarity would you want. The Support Me piece is, it would mean the world to me if you would be my customer. Would you let me practice my presentation on you? Can you introduce me to anybody else who might be a good candidate for our products? And would you push me? Those are the 4 asks. But you have to do the other things first before you get to the ask. If you get to the ask first and you don't do those other things, you're going to get one result. If you do those other things first and then you make the 4 asks, then you're going to get all the results. Okay. Siobhan says, I have a super small circle of close friends and family. I'm getting ghosted when I reach out to those that aren't the closest, or it takes multiple attempts to reach them by text and social media. Do I focus on increasing the size of close friends or move to my warm market to cold sooner? It's a combination. This is a long game. Here's the thing. Your super small circle of close friends, that some people are so introverted and that's what they have. Or they got trust issues or whatever. I'm not saying what you have, Siobhan. I had a super small circle as well. And I didn't particularly treat my expanded circle very well. So guess what I had to do? I had to build my network. You know how I built my network? I set a goal for 2 a day, every day. I was going to add 2 people to my list every single day. I was going to find a creative way to stay in touch. I was going to find a way to bring value. And when the time came, I was going to act. I was going to make the ask for support. So it's a combination. And if you get ghosted, you know, most of you have talked to 7 people and 4 of them ghosted you and you're losing your mind. Anybody who's talked to over 100 and have been completely ghosted, of people that you know, put a 100 in the chat, because I don't think you exist. If you've reached out to 100 people that you know and you've been ghosted by all 100, you haven't gotten a single response. Alexi, scroll down so I can see the bottom, please. Come back to 1236. Come on. Come on. Scroll up a bit. Bev, Deborah, Tanya, Daniel, Gabriel. I need to know what you're saying to these people. Tamika, put in the chat. What are you saying? Give me an example of what you're saying. Because if you know these people and all 100 have ghosted you, they have not responded, then tell me what you're saying, because I need to know. Not interested is a response. People are getting responses every day. Oh, no, not all 100. Okay. Maybe we just had a misunderstanding on how I asked the question. Gabriel said, I followed the challenge. I got 0 back from those 100. These are people you know, Gabriel? People you know? And you got 0 response? Outside of fire emojis or question marks, what did you say? What was your most common thing that you said, Gabriel? Because this, I'm truly trying to help you, because this doesn't make sense to me. I also did checking up on your comment and a post they had, and I got 0 back. What are you saying? You said you're checking up on them? Did you ask them a question, or did you just give them a comment? Some people keep saying yes, but then then they never take action. That happens a lot. That happens in most of life. Don't worry about that. If they say yes, eventually they'll say yes to everything. I say, hey, their name. Just checking in to see how are things. Okay? And you got 0. 0. Honestly, 0. I have to You got to share your screen and I've got to see it. I got responses because it was conversation with people I know. Sales conversation is what I need to be more confident in face-to-face with fear. So you did get responses. Okay, I think we're lost in translation. No, I just think we're lost in how I'm asking the question and how we're getting responses. Will some people not respond? My mom is the worst at answering her phone. She's the worst at responding to texts. My dad answers every time. Okay? If you get ghosted after saying they want the product, you've got to get off the platform. You've got to pivot to a product conversation or business conversation off the platform. How many times have I said that today? You've got to get voice to voice and face to face and off of where you started. And the way to do that is, do you have a second? Can I call you? Can I FaceTime you? That's when you move into the different type of conversation. And if you're getting resistance from this, if you're getting resistance from any of this, you're moving too fast. Slow down. Take your time. If you start getting a pushback, then decide, regroup, retreat, and regroup. Give it a little time, throw them a little funny emoji, comment on something else, swing back around, keep them on your list. It might take a month, it might take 3 months, it might take 6 months, it might take a year. You've got to get off the platform face to face or voice to voice if you expect to get results. And you also have to expect that people are going to ghost you. My mom ghosts me all the time. My brother ghosts me all the time. I ghost my sisters too much. They get mad at me for ghosting them. I'm sorry. Some of you are terrible at responding. Put a 7 in the chat if you're terrible at responding if somebody sends you a message. If you are, so, I mean, if you are, it's reasonable to expect that they're probably not going to be great at it either. One of my highest values, I think, is if I feel like people have my back and people support me, they've got me forever. If people are talking shit behind my back, or if they don't support me, or they don't have my back and they've demonstrated it, they might as well be dead to me. I mean, I really respond poorly if people don't have my back or if they're talking garbage behind my back and they're calling me my friend. Okay? So that's one of my values. The other value is how responsive somebody is. If I'm working with you and you're non-responsive, it's not going to work out. I mean, if you work for me and I text you and I don't get a response within the hour, it's not going to work out. I just find it disrespectful. That's me. So, again, even though sometimes I'm not the best, be willing to put in enough in numbers that it doesn't matter. what happens to the responses of the few? Is this the training that was promoted as a pivot training from the 100 Conversations? Yes. This is the beginning of it. Tomorrow we're pivoting how you pivot directly the conversation if you've warmed it up properly. And day 3, how to pivot if they come to you and say, tell me about your product, tell me about your business, including questions and objections. Emma asks, what's your best way of tracking 100 conversations at once on different platforms, at different stages on different platforms? For me, I use paper.
Yes.
I use paper.
Yes.
You can decide to do however you want. I write them down. Here's the platform. Here's where it's at. I use paper. You can keep 100 on a piece of paper or on a legal pad at all times and update it at all times. Yes, it's a little bit of work. Yes, I know you really love your technology. Yes, you have your notes in your phone. Yes, I had an assistant that drove me bananas because when she sat in meetings, she took notes on her phone. And it absolutely drove me crazy because it looked to everybody else in the meeting that she was disrespecting the meeting and she was just sitting on her phone. So I had to ask her. She says, I'm taking notes. Look, I get it. Either tell everybody at the beginning of the meeting that you're taking notes or start taking notes on paper and put it in your phone later. Because it's so distracting to everybody else. So I use paper. Okay? That's for me. And then you can decide to transfer it to digital if you want to at some point. Look, this is simpler than you think. You have to have more conversations than what you're looking for in prospects. You just got to be willing to do what you need to do and start these conversations and keep them going. And plan to review. If you're not getting good results, start saying something different. And if that's not working, start saying something weird. If that's not working, start saying something funny. If that's not working, start saying something dumb. If that's not working, start saying something, ridiculous, controversial. Something. Just get the conversation moving. That's why we call it plan, do, review. Be willing to have so many conversations that and pivot along the way as far as how you're doing it, that the results start to get better, and pay attention to what works for you. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, don't worry about who's ghosting you, other than as a learning experience. If they're ghosting you, try and find out why. And you can even ask the ones ghosting you, hey, I noticed you didn't respond to my message. I was just curious why. Is that a fair question? Do you know the one that gets me all the time? One that just kills me. Somebody's been trying to get a hold of me. They want to do business with me. They want to have a meeting with me. They want to whatever. They finally say, this is the last time I'm going to send a message. I'm not going to send any more messages. This is the last message I'm sending. Because your lack of response leads me to believe you would prefer not to have a conversation about this potential business relationship. And that's okay. But I won't send another one. I respond to all of those. I mean, pretty much. I'm just like, no, you're misunderstanding. I was really busy. I had all of the other stuff going up. Excuse, but it just wasn't high on my priority list. You know? So some people are just going to say, I didn't know there was a response necessary. You sent me a compliment and I thought it was nice. Thanks. Appreciate it. But I didn't think a response was necessary. You got to go through enough that it doesn't matter. So here's the thing, especially for those of you VIPs need to lead the field. By 11 a.m. tomorrow, I'm expecting 3 customers. Who are your easiest 3? Who are the 3 that you can get? Okay? Go make it happen. You got this. It's not as hard as we're making it feel. Forget about the ghosters. Focus on the people who are responding to you. Bring them as much value as you can. Ask them to support you 4 different ways. Okay? Again, cold market is just a way to introduce yourself to people, to turn them into warm market. You're not going to be able to go to cold market and ask them to buy. If you are, good luck. I mean, you just have to be a freaking wizard to not know somebody, get them to buy. You know how good their pitch has to be? For me to buy something off of a straight cold ad or something? Or some straight pitch? No. It goes from cold to warm, warm to prospect. That's the way it goes in our business. You're like, well, I want to stay cold. Well, you're going to be really cold. You're going to be out in the cold. You got to warm them up. The way you warm them up is show that you're a real human being. Be a kind person. Bring value to their lives. Then they'll listen to everything that you have. Don't make this so hard, okay? Just breathe, get out of your head, follow instructions. 3 customers, non-negotiable. Pretend like this is a countdown for your life, like the TV show 24. You got 24 hours to get 3 customers or the president's gonna get assassinated. It's a wrong analogy. I should not have used that analogy. It's a terrible analogy. But you have to get 3 customers, otherwise there's going to be a terrible disaster happen somewhere. Wouldn't be any problem. You'd get them with no problem. So go get them with no problem. Go get them with a smile on your face. Okay? Shouldn't feel like going to the dentist. Just have fun. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be great. The pivot is on. The transition is on. How we're going to pivot these conversations, right? Most of you need to season these conversations a little bit more. Some of you are going a little bit too fast. You got to slow them down a little bit. You got to depending on how close you know these people, you got to build some relationship. You got to warm up these prospects. Warm them up. Close them up, the ones that are ready. Yes, this is recorded. You have access to all of this. As VIPs, plus everything else. Book your conversation, your one-on-one conversation sometime, not in the next 72 hours, but sometime soon. Book your one-on-one consultation. We're going to be focused on 10 customers between now and then. Who's going to get at least 3 by tomorrow? Put a 3 in the chat. Come on. Don't just sit there looking at me, tapping your thumb on your chin. There it is. There's the 3. Lady in pink. I see the 3. She finally threw the 3 in there. I see you. No hiding. No hiding. Got 1 already. All right, fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And we'll get into the pivot. Okay? Talk to you soon.